Welcome everyone to the Late Night Horror Show. My name is Desmond and tune in every Sunday at 11 p.m. Indian Standard Time for some creepy horror stories around the world. All the stories narrated on this show are only for entertainment and I don't promote blind faith or superstition. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Now, let's begin the show.
Hello, and welcome once again to the Late Night Horror Show. My name is Desmond, your host. Sorry, guys. Last night, I could not do the live stream, the Late Night Horror Show. There was a technical issue, but finally, I solved it, and has promised every week a late night horror show for you guys. So, welcome once again. My name is Desmond, and in tonight's late night horror show, it's all about Jinnats. So, I am going to play three stories. The first one is the history of Jinnats, then different types of Jinnats, and the third one will be the real life incident where one of my subscribers submitted his story where he experienced something which is too hard to believe, and I will be playing the story towards the end. So I will begin with the history of Jinnat, but before I begin this, I would like to ask you guys a question. Whoever is listening to this on any of the audio platforms, DM me on Instagram, and whoever is watching this on YouTube, you can comment below. So the question is, in March 2024, there is a horror movie which is been going not which is been which is going to be released, which is going to be released, and the movie, the main character or the main actor is Ajay Devgan. Yes, it is a Bollywood movie, but I would like to ask you, what is the name of the movie? This is the first question. So if you guys know, then let me know, because this movie is really exciting and it is a remake of a Gujarati movie. So I've given you a couple of hints. So if you know the answer, then please DM me on Instagram. If you're listening to this on any of the audio platforms, or else you can comment below if you're listening to this on YouTube. So without wasting any time, I will play an episode where I am talking about the history of Jinnat. But stick till the end, because the last story, where a personal real life experience with the Jinnat will be played, and also I will reveal the answer of the question which I asked you guys. So without wasting any time, here we go. History of jinns. It's unclear exactly when the specific concept of jinn first emerged. However, there is something mentioned about jinn in one of our holy books. It says, "And he created the jinn from a smokeless flame of fire." To be specific, jinns are the earliest dweller of the earth way before humans existed. They are a group of people which God created. They have everything similar to us. They can eat, sleep, they can have homes, they can like videos, they can subscribe to channels, and many more such things which human can do. Another fact, jinns live in a parallel world concealed from our eyes. They live in a different dimension and follow a different timeline too. Therefore, unlike humans, they live for hundreds of years. Right now, you never know, in a different dimension, they might be creating content about different types of humans. You never know. कुछ भी हो सकता है. Records also tell us that the race of jinns was created on a Thursday, the day after angels were created. It is also known that the jinn lived for thousands of years before the humans were created. But here I have a question. If humans were created later on, then how does we as humans know such specific information about jinn? Because the information which I am giving you right now, it is from a website. So I want to know exactly how we have such specific information. If you know anything about it, please comment below and let me know. Anyways, getting back to the history, there was a problem that concerned God. That the jinn had become prideful beings who thought that they were greater than God. God tried sending warnings to the jinn, but all of these warnings were ignored. With all his warnings ignored by the prideful jinn, God had no choice but to send his angels to fight with the jinn and cleanse the earth. When the battle had ended, all but a few of the evil jinn had been destroyed. At this time, God decided to make the race of man. Humans were created on a Friday, thousands of years later, out of a clay from the earth. When God had finished creating humans, he showed his creation to all the angels and jinn and ordered that they bow before the first man Adam. It was at this time that another problem came up. Although most of the jinn and angels were obedient, one that was named Ibis refused to bow before Adam. He argued with God and said that because he was made from smokeless fire instead of clay, he was far more superior to humans and should not be forced to bow to them. Because of his arrogance, God threw Ibis from heaven and condemned him to hell. Ibis accepted his fate, but asked that he might be spared until Judgment Day so that he could tempt humans from the path of righteousness. God granted this but did not give Ibis power over humans, and that was the history of jinns. If you want to know more about the history in detail, check out the website called mythology.net. The link is in the description. It's quite simple for us to understand the concept now. Ibis, or so-called the devil, will try to tempt us to do the wrong things. But we need to keep our faith strong in God and always do good things, like subscribing to my channel, supporting my work. Yes, that was the history of Jinnat. I hope you learned something from this because when I created this series on my channel, it was really exciting for me because a lot of people watch that and I really appreciate. But the thing is, my subscribers count on YouTube is still low. So if you're new to my channel, if you would want to support me, then please like the stream, like the video. If you're listening to this on any of the audio platforms, give it a like, share it with your friends and family. Let a lot of people join the late night horror show. And I have different other stuff on my channel. So right now, all you need to do is support me by liking, sharing, and subscribing. So let's go to the next part now, which is different types of jinns, or you can call it jinnats. I don't know what is the actual word. Let me know in the comments what is the actual word. Jinns, jinnat, because it's spelled as well differently. Either it's spelled as J-I-N-N or else it's jinnat, Jinnat, or also another way to spell it is Dijn. So it's very complicated and very confusing. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to play the history, not the history, I'm sorry. I'm going to play the different types of Jinnat. By mistake, I again selected the same file, the history of Jinnats. Give me a minute. Yes, different types of jinn. Different types of jinn. So I'm going to play different types of jinn. But before I go ahead and before I play with this, uh, I had asked you guys a question at the beginning of the show, and that was which horror movie it's going to be released on the 8th of March 2024. The lead of this movie is Ajay Devgan. We also have a talented actor in this movie called as R. Madhavan. Yes, these two talented actors are there in this movie, and it is a psychological thriller, paranormal horror movie, whatever you can call it. It is really interesting, and it's an official remake of a Gujarati horror movie which was released last year in 2023. Stick till the end because I'm going to tell you about the movie. I'm going to tell you the movie's name. Now, without wasting any time, I'm going to play the different types of jinn. So sit back and enjoy. So let us learn together the types of jinn. The first one is Ifrit. They are known to live in societies that are much like human world. While they prefer to marry other Ifrit, they are known to be able to marry humans and have children with them. Ifrit are also known to have the power to grant wishes. The next one is Marid. They are one of the most well-known types of jinn and are also known to be the most powerful one. Marids are also known to able to grant wishes and are likely the source of the three wishes legend. However, obtaining these wishes come at a costly price. So you give your soul and take these wishes. The next one is Ghoul. They are some of the most greatly feared jinn because of their ability to shapeshift and their tendency to prey on humans. While all jinns are feared to some extent, Ghoul are especially feared because of their craving for human flesh. Female ghouls are especially feared because of their ability to appear as normal and beautiful women. They convince human men to marry them and then destroy their life. The next one are called as Hin. They are a type of jinn that tend to appear as dogs and other animals. They are known to be spotted most often in Arabia, Persia, and India. The next on the list is called as Jan. They are shapeshifters who live in the desert and are some of the most open-minded and friendly jinn to interact with humans. In fact, they were some of the first jinns that interacted with humans. Next on the list is called as Palis. They are a type of jinn that has many similarities to the vampire of Europe. They live in the desert and drain all the blood from their victims by licking their sole off the feet and sucking the blood out of the way. The next one is one of the most dangerous jinns of all time. They are called as Shaitan. They are an evil jinn that has no hope for salvation. Ibis, sometimes called Shaitan, are pure evil and are known to be the cause of many troubles in human world. They are sometimes used and controlled by strong dark magicians. They even have the ability to cause illness and even death. They are also capable of much destruction and can cause a person to lose everything they have. Though Shaitan are known to have the ability to possess humans, while other jinns also have this ability, the act is much more dangerous when it is done by a Shaitan. And now it's time to talk about one of the most horrifying jinns of all time. The jinn name is Kareen. But before I go ahead and tell you the information, I would like to tell you that if you are a weak mind and you cannot handle extreme horror, it's time now to pause this episode and go and watch or listen something else. Because after I telling you this information, it's going to haunt you for the rest of your life. So if you're ready, then let me go ahead. Kareens are perhaps one of the most interesting breeds of jinn. It is known that every person in the world is born with their own Kareen. This Kareen is the part of the human that causes them to do bad things and sin. It is possible to train the Kareen to become a servant, but it is known that this process takes many years and can be dangerous. Kareen is a type of an evil jinn that stays with humans at all times. They know each and everything about a person and encourage them to do bad deeds. So remember, next time when your inner self is telling you to do bad things, it's not you, it's your Kareen. Yes, it is your Kareen. I hope that the last jinn, what I spoke about, Kareen, apparently you should not even take the name because they are your evil side. So everyone, everyone has a good side and a bad side, and that Kareen is the bad side of you. Everyone has it, believe it or not, but everyone has it. So I hope you guys are enjoying the late night horror show. To till now we have covered the history of jinns and the different types of jinns. Now we are almost to the end of the late night horror show. It was a quick one, and I'm going to play something which is a very special and a beautiful story which I had narrated a couple of years before on my channel, which is a real life gin encounter. Yes, a real life gin encounter which was submitted by one of my subscribers. So remember, if you guys have any such stories, if you all have experienced something, please feel free to DM me on Instagram and share your stories. Or else, I also do another live where I invite people. It's a more conversation based live stream, which I do it every Tuesday around 11 p.m. Indian Standard Time. So you can join there as well and you can share your experience. But in the late night horror show, it's all about stories, stories, and stories. So I'm going to play the real life Jinn encounter. But before that, I will give you a hint. Now, I had played the different kinds of jinns, and there was one particular jinn which I spoke about, and that jinn's name starts from S, and that is the movie's name, which is going to release on 8th of March 2024. Yes, it is the biggest hint. I hope you guys must have understood by now. For sure, a lot of people who are listening, they might know of which movie I'm talking about. It's an Ajay Devgan movie. R. Madhavan movie's name is starting from S, and 8th of March 2024 it's releasing. It's a psychological thriller horror movie, and also it's a remake of a Gujarati movie. I know this is a non-sponsored show. They have not given me anything to sponsor their movie or to promote their movie, but it's just me. I love horror, and anyone who's doing horror, if it's a book, it's a movie, anything, I will promote them. So now, without wasting any time, we will go ahead and we will play the last story for tonight, and after that I will reveal the answer. So story for the the last story for tonight is real life Jinn encounters. So without wasting any time, sit back and enjoy.
So this happened on the 13th of December 2014, and I still remember that night since it haunts me to date. My name is Salim and I'm basically from Hyderabad. In early 2014, I lost my wife due to cancer, and since then, my life has been hell. However, I had to continue and live on with my life. So after 6 months, I decided to move to Bangalore and start a new life. And I felt this is what my wife would also want me to do. So in the month of November 2021, I got a job offer at a startup company somewhere near St. Mark's Hotel in Bangalore. Although I would not like to disclose any further details for personal reasons. Moving forward with the story, since it was a startup company, they did not have much staff, and sometimes we had to work late even after office hours to achieve our targets. And since I did not have a reason to go back home, and neither I had any friends in Bangalore, I used to often stay late in the office. I still remember that night. I was in the conference room, working on my laptop and trying to prepare some reports. I got so engrossed with my work that I did not realize that most of my colleagues had left for the day, and it was around 9:30 p.m. I decided to take a break and order dinner from Zomato. While I was waiting for my dinner to get delivered, I was going through my wife's photograph on my phone. Even though I was busy with my life, I still missed her each and every day, and I still felt lonely within. While I was going through her beautiful photograph, suddenly I could hear someone calling me from outside the conference room. I assumed it was a delivery guy, but when I went near the entrance, no one was around. The minute I turned back, I got shocked to see someone inside the conference room. I could see a dark silhouette, but it was not visible from the entrance of the office. I was curious to know who was it, so I started walking faster, and while walking, I hit the reception desk, and the fishbowl from the edge of the desk fell down. There were glass pieces all around, but luckily it did not hurt me. But the minute I opened the door, I was shocked to see my wife sitting at the opposite side of the table. At first, I could not believe it. I thought I was dreaming. But then I was so broken from inside, I started crying. And then I heard a voice.
Salim.
I did not know what to do. I did not understand anything that was happening. I still could not believe that she was standing in front of me. I had so many questions in mind. How was she alive? How did she reach here? But she told me not to ask her anything. She only told me that she will come to meet me every night and asked me to wait for her the next evening. At that time, nothing made sense, but now it does. Long story short, every night when no one was in office, she used to come to meet me. The strange part was that I could actually feel her. I could hold her hands. I knew she was not a ghost. But somewhere back in my mind, I was still confused how a dead person can come alive. After that, I look forward to meeting her every night. I knew she had told me not to tell anyone, but I was really happy. I decided to call up my big brother in Hyderabad and inform him. At first, he did not believe me. He thought I had become crazy, and because of that, we had a disagreement, and that ended our conversation. But then suddenly, after a few days, my big brother arrives in Bangalore to check on me since I had stopped answering his calls. He was worried and wanted to know if I was fine. I was still angry, but I told him that tonight I will give him the proof that I meet my wife. I told him to come to my office by 9 p.m. and asked him to hide in the washroom and wait for everyone to leave. The minute everyone left, I dropped him a message to hide somewhere in the office and witness the truth. After a while, she comes, and like always, we meet in the conference room. We spoke for a while and then she left. After that, I go and meet my brother and asked him, "Are you happy now? Do you believe me?" He was sweating and was in fear. He did not say a word at that time, but the next morning, my parents were in Bangalore, sitting next to me with a local priest. I was shocked and confused at the same time. The priest? Why the priest? He asked me when and how did I meet my wife. So I told him everything. I knew something was serious since my entire family was worried and praying over me. After a while, I asked my brother again with a lot of curiosity, "Did you see her last night?" The answer shocked me for the rest of my life. He said he could only see a dark shadow in and around me. At that very moment, I got back to my senses and understood that I was not meeting my wife, and it was something that I could not explain to anyone at that time. However, after the priest got all the information, he told my family something which still haunts us to date. He said that it was not my wife but a jinn called Ghoul who was meeting me. It's a type of jinn who can shapeshift and turn into a human form. He also informs me that normally this type of jinn attack people who are sad and emotionally broken from inside. It's an easy target for them. It was extremely hard to believe what had happened to me at that time. But now, after so many years, I sit back and thank God for saving me from the devil. Over the course of time, I studied everything about jinns. In my story, the biggest clue was that the jinn used to come in the same attire every night and used to call me Salim. But my wife used to always call me Jan. And that's when I knew that it was a jinn, because they can take a form of humans but won't know the person's nature and behavior. For the people who are listening, please note, if you ever see your loved ones who have passed away, it is possible that it can be a jinn. So this was the real life jinn story that Salim witnessed. How did you enjoy it? Please let me know in the comments below if you're listening to this episode on YouTube, or DM me on Instagram if you're listening to this episode on any of the audio platforms. Before I end this episode, I have a message for everyone who's listening. I don't know if the story is true or not, but the moral of the story is that if there is bad, then there is good. And remember, God will always win. So keep your faith strong in God and enjoy horror content, but do not take the story seriously. Thank you for listening and see you in my next episode. God bless. La 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 la. La 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 la.
La 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 la. So yeah, that was the last story for tonight. Let me know. I have a question for everyone. Normally, my personality is, I crack jokes. Even when we are talking horror, I crack jokes and I try to make it funny. I don't know if you all find it funny. So the question is, when I'm having the late night horror show, should I be serious and talk this way? Or should I just be normal and talk the way I talk? So, yeah, let me know. in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're listening to this on any of the audio platforms, then DM me on Instagram. So, yes, thank you so much for listening till the end. And now I'm going to reveal the answer for the question which I had asked. A Bollywood horror movie which seems exciting. The lead is Ajay Devgan, and there is also another actor called as R. Madhavan. It is an official remake of a Gujarati horror movie, and the movie's name is Shaitan. Yes, the movie's name is Shaitan, and it is releasing on 8th of March 2024. So, if you are waiting to watch something creepy, then make sure to watch this movie. Trust me, it is not going to disappoint because the actors in the movie do not select any movies which are bad. So, very high hopes in terms of the storyline, in terms of everything. So, yes, this is the movie. So, thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone who joined in. Thank you so much for listening till the end. Manoj Kumar has finally joined in, but Manoj Kumar, it is the end of tonight's late night horror show. I've already uh, played three stories: types of jinn, history of jinns, and a real life encounter of jinns, jinnats. So you can replay and you can watch it. So thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you everyone for listening. Now I will like to give some updates. So every Sunday I do the late night horror show. Every Tuesday I do a horror live where it is more about conversations. We talk about something related to the paranormal. There is my co-host Swati Rao who joins in. Then every day I am uploading shorts, so you can go and check my shorts as well. Different kinds of shorts, obviously related to paranormal and true crime. Then by end of the week, which is Friday, Saturday, I release episodes related to true crime and some paranormal stories. So this is the update. So thank you so much, and I shall see you in my next late night horror show. Ciao, good night, God bless, and remember, someone somewhere is watching you. So happy haunting.